What in hell?
Have you ever?
No.
The original Stasis was clearly a love letter to a childhood filled with sci-fi, horror, and sci-fi horror, with an all-new setting and story set in space that had its dimly lit corridors filled with the echoes of the games, books, and movies that inspired it. It was dark and tense, violent, and had all the traits of point-and-click adventures that I miss from the old days of PC gaming. While the old-school feel was charming, it could also feel a little bit clunky and dated. After a handful of hours in Stasis Bone Totem, I'm happy to report that a move to full 3D graphics, improved cinematics, and some much needed updates to the interface and game design have gone a long way. I'm Nick from What's Good, let's take a look. Stasis Bone Totem is an isometric sci-fi horror point-and-click adventure that tells a personal tale of salvagers, a husband, Mac, and his wife Charlie, who come across what looks like an oil rig, only to discover that they're trapped once they investigate further. Together with Moses, a ridiculously creepy toy bear retrofitted with some advanced functions.
What the hell was that?
I opened the door.
A door? What'd you use, dynamite?
Guns are not toys, Mac.
And a small gizmo that lets them share items via a pocket dimension, they unravel an ancient and sinister mystery, while also struggling with the pain of having lost their daughter. Stasis Bone Totem is about exploring an underwater lab and the environments it's connected to, as well as reading and solving puzzles to progress through the story. The three characters spend most of their time split, with you needing to jump between them GTA 5 style.
A less rational man might think he'd been abducted by aliens.
As mentioned before, they share items, however Mac can use his strength to bend and break things while Charlie can repair or combine items. The bear's job is to be creepy.
Guns are not toys, Mac.
Creepy ass bear. This makes for an interesting system where you're constantly trying to figure out what might work with what or where, and I also like that each character's description of items are different based on their outlook or knowledge. Bone Totem is chock full of puzzle scenarios that need to be solved, and make no mistake, some can get quite tough. Just like in the 90s, you might find yourself backtracking or clicking on all the items as you scratch your head to figure out what to do where. The thinking needed to solve some of the puzzles was enough to make me wonder if the solutions were obtuse even with the in-game hints, or if I was just being brain dead.
No, your name Dum Dum.
Get something wrong or take a wrong step and you're sometimes treated to a death cinematic. I say treated because they're awesome to watch and make failure a part of the fun and even count as achievements. The incredible art and sound design alone could do a lot of the heavy lifting, but the incredibly detailed writing isn't afraid to challenge your intellect. It elevates the experience to one that isn't afraid to take the necessary risks to deliver something special, and feels like it's willing to perch itself on the same level as a solid sci-fi novel. In other words, there's no cheeseball video game writing going on here.
Oh yeah, I'm talking to a cop!
On that same note, some of the really great story beats and discoveries of what took place are delivered via messages and logs from personal PDAs. While it's old school in its nature, it can become quite tiresome to read through a whole bunch of messages. But that's also the nature of adventure and indie games, so it's not a major complaint. Considering the age of my hardware, I was pleasantly surprised that the game was able to look as good as it did. It was running with all the bells and whistles turned on, and even hot swapping between characters only took a few moments, even without an SSD. I really enjoyed the time I've had with Stasis Bone Totem. So far it's almost everything I wanted from a sequel. It's familiar in some ways while feeling completely fresh in others, with visual and gameplay upgrades that give you a great reason to jump back into its world and unravel its mysteries. If you're looking for a deep isometric sci-fi horror adventure to get stuck into, my experience with Stasis Bone Totem so far says you've come to the right place.
Guns are not toys, Mac.
Creepy ass bear. That's our quick review in progress and impressions of Stasis Bone Totem. What's your favorite sci-fi horror movie or game? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, we'll see you soon.